7 Ford Power Stroke trucks are losing value right now faster than almost anything else in the used diesel market. And if you know which ones to target and what to look for when you inspect them, you are about to understand why the smartest diesel buyers in the country are quietly shopping for these specific trucks while everyone else is still paying top dollar for Cummins-powered Ram trucks and Duramax Chevys. I have been working on diesels for over 15 years, and what is happening in this segment of the market right now is genuinely unusual. Before I get into the list, I want to give you the context that explains why this is happening, because understanding the why makes you a smarter buyer and helps you avoid the traps hiding inside some of these depreciated trucks. Power Stroke values are falling for a combination of reasons that have nothing to do with the quality of the engines themselves. Fuel prices softened from their peak levels, which reduced demand for diesel trucks generally across all brands. The used truck market as a whole came off the insane highs of 2021 and 2022 when supply shortages pushed used truck prices into territory that made no economic sense. And a few high-profile reliability complaints about specific Power Stroke generations, some legitimate and some dramatically overstated on internet forums, have scared buyers away from certain model years and created opportunities for people willing to do their homework. Add to that the general perception that diesel maintenance is expensive and complicated, and you get a segment where emotionally driven market behavior has separated price from actual value. That gap is where opportunity lives. Let us get into the 7 trucks. The first truck on this list is the 2011 to 2014 Ford F-250 and F-350 Super Duty with the 6.7-liter Power Stroke. And this one requires me to address the reputation issue directly because it is the primary reason these trucks are cheap right now. The 6.7-liter Power Stroke launched in 2011 as Ford's first in-house diesel engine design, replacing the international-sourced 6.4-liter that had developed a reputation for catastrophic failure. When the 6.7 arrived, early adopters discovered some issues. The EGR system on the 2011 and 2012 models was particularly prone to cooler failure. The diesel particulate filter system created back pressure problems under certain operating conditions. Fuel dilution in the oil was reported by some owners running primarily short trips. Every one of these issues is real, documented, and well understood by the diesel mechanic community. Here is what the internet does not tell you equally loudly. Ford addressed all of these issues through progressive updates during the 2011 to 2014 production run. The 2013 and 2014 model years specifically received revised EGR coolers, updated injector return lines, and software calibration improvements that resolved the majority of early complaints. A properly maintained 2013 or 2014 F-250 with the 6.7 Power Stroke that has its emissions equipment functional and has been serviced with the correct motorcraft oil on the recommended schedule is an extremely capable truck. It produces 400 horsepower and 800 pound-feet of torque in this generation, and it tows up to 21,000 pounds in properly equipped configurations. These trucks are currently selling in the $22,000 to $32,000 range depending on mileage, trim, and configuration. A comparable 2013 Ram 2500 with the Cummins is commanding $28,000 to $38,000 for the same mileage range. The price difference is almost entirely reputation-driven, not performance or reliability-driven, when you are talking about the 2013 and 2014 model years specifically. When you inspect one, pull the oil dipstick and smell it. Any hint of diesel fuel in the oil is a serious red flag, indicating the emission system has been running improperly or the truck has been used exclusively on short, cold trips. Check the coolant reservoir for any oily contamination, which would indicate exhaust gas recirculation cooler failure. A compression test on all 8 cylinders tells you more about the actual condition of this engine than any visual inspection can.
The second truck losing value fast right now is the 2015 to 2016 Ford F-250 and F-350 with the second generation 6.7-liter Power Stroke. And this is where the value argument gets particularly compelling, because this generation of the 6.7-liter addressed the early adoption issues of the first generation and delivered a significantly refined package. Ford increased output to 440 horsepower and 860 pound-feet of torque for 2015. They revised the turbocharger to a single sequential unit that improved both low-end response and high-end power delivery. The EGR system received further updates. B20 biodiesel compatibility was added for 2015. By any objective measure, the 2015 and 2016 6.7-liter Power Stroke is a meaningfully better engine than the 2011 and 2012 units that received the most negative press coverage. Yet these trucks are falling in value alongside the earlier generation because buyers are not distinguishing between them. They see the 6.7-liter Power Stroke, remember the first generation 6.7 complaints, and they pass. Current market pricing on a 2015 F350 Lariat Crew Cab with the Power Stroke and 120,000 to 140,000 miles is running between $28,000 and $38,000 in most markets. 3 years ago, that same truck was selling for $48,000 to $55,000. That is a $15,000 to $20,000 correction on a truck that mechanically has not changed. One area to inspect carefully on 2015 and 2016 trucks is the high-pressure fuel pump. A small percentage of these engines developed premature fuel pump wear, and the debris from a failing pump can contaminate the entire high-pressure fuel system. The diagnostic signature is a hard start combined with rough running. If you catch it before complete pump failure, the repair runs $1,200 to $2,000 at an independent diesel shop. If you miss it and the pump sends debris through the injectors, you are looking at a complete fuel system replacement that can reach $8,000 to $12,000. Always ask for fuel filter service history on these trucks and have a diesel specialist run a fuel system pressure test before you buy. Third on this list is the 2017 to 2019 Ford F-250 and F-350 with the third generation 6.7-liter Power Stroke. And this one surprises people because it is a relatively modern truck depreciating faster than the market expected. The third generation 6.7-liter engine received another significant upgrade for 2017, with output climbing to 450 horsepower and 935 pound-feet of torque. The turbocharger was redesigned again. The after-treatment system received updates to improve cold start performance in colder climates. Ford also introduced the 10-speed select shift automatic transmission as an option, replacing the 6-speed torque shift in some configurations. The reason these trucks are losing value is directly tied to the 10-speed transmission. Early production, 2017 and 2018 trucks equipped with the 10-speed experienced shift quality complaints and in some cases, premature clutch pack wear under heavy towing loads. Ford has issued multiple software calibration updates through dealer flashes, and the later 2019 model year trucks benefited from all of those calibration refinements. When you shop this generation, the key question to ask is whether the truck has the 6-speed or the 10-speed, and if it has the 10-speed, whether all available software updates have been applied through a Ford dealer. A 2017 to 2019 F350. With the 6-speed torque shift is arguably the lower risk buy in this generation. These trucks are currently selling in the $35,000 to $48,000 range, depending on configuration. That is down from peaks that reached $70,000 to $75,000 during the supply shortage years. The engine itself in this generation is genuinely excellent and has accumulated a strong track record in commercial fleet applications where these trucks run at high mileage and high load with professional maintenance schedules behind them. The fourth truck is one that most buyers overlook almost entirely, and it represents what I believe is the single most undervalued diesel truck in the current used market. The 2020 to 2022 Ford F-250 and F-350 with the fourth generation 6.7 Power Stroke. Ford pushed output to 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque for the 2020 model year, making it the highest torque output diesel half-ton and 3/4-ton engine available at that time from any American manufacturer. The fourth generation 6.7 also introduced a variable geometry compressor wheel in the turbocharger, improving responsiveness across a broader RPM range and reducing the low-end lag that diesel owners sometimes notice when pulling from a stop with a heavy trailer. The reason these trucks are losing value faster than they should is almost purely cyclical market dynamics rather than any engineering concern. Buyers stretch their budgets to buy new Super Duties during 2020 through 2022 and are now selling them, creating supply at the same time that overall used truck demand has pulled back from pandemic-era highs. A 2021 F350 Platinum Crew Cab with the Power Stroke and 60,000 to 80,000 miles is selling today in the $52,000 to $62,000 range. The original MSRP on a comparably equipped 2021 F350 Platinum was $75,000 to $82,000. You are buying a truck that is 2 to 3 years old, with most of its useful life still ahead of it, and priced $20,000 to $25,000 below what someone paid new. The inspection priorities on these trucks are relatively straightforward because they have not had time to develop the kinds of deferred maintenance issues that show up on higher mileage trucks. Check for any modifications that could indicate the emission system was tampered with. Deleted emission systems create significant legal liability for buyers and can make the truck unregisterable in an increasing number of states. Also, look for any indication the truck was used as a commercial vehicle, which may have accumulated heavy towing mileage beyond what the odometer alone tells you. The fifth truck on this list is the 2008 to 2010 Ford F250 and F350 with the 6.4-liter Power Stroke. I want to be absolutely direct with you about this one, because it is the most complicated buying decision on this list, and the risks are real. The 6.4-liter Power Stroke, built by International Navistar and used in the Super Duty from 2008 through 2010, is the most controversial diesel engine Ford has ever sold. It uses a compound turbocharger system with a small high-pressure turbo and a larger low-pressure turbo working in sequence. That delivers impressive performance, but it also creates complexity. The dual EGR coolers on this engine are a known failure point. The diesel particulate filter system was poorly matched to the engine's operating characteristics in many real-world use cases. Injector cups, the sleeves that seal the injectors in the cylinder head, can develop leaks on higher mileage examples and allow coolant to enter the combustion chamber, with catastrophic consequences if the leak is not caught early. The 6.4-liter is genuinely not appropriate for buyers who are not willing to either invest in a thorough pre-purchase inspection or budget for potential significant repairs. It is also not appropriate for buyers who plan to operate the truck exclusively on short trips. The 6.4-liter needs to get hot and stay hot to keep the DPF system functioning properly. However, the 6.4-liter trucks that survive are the ones that were treated correctly, maintained meticulously, and in many cases had their emission systems deleted at some point, which I will note again creates legal registration issues that buyers need to understand before purchasing. A stock, well-maintained, high-mileage, 6.4-liter Power Stroke that has had both EGR coolers replaced within the last 50,000 miles and shows clean coolant is a different proposition than an unknown history example. These trucks are selling in the $12,000 to $20,000 range right now for reasonable examples, and for buyers in states where emissions testing is not a factor, and who are willing to have a diesel specialist perform a thorough pre-purchase inspection. The value argument can work. For everyone else, move to a different generation. Number 6 is the 2003 to 2007 Ford F250 and F350 with the 6.0-liter Power Stroke. And this one is going to generate some strong opinions from people who have been burned by one of these engines. So let me explain exactly what I mean and what I do not mean. The 6.0-liter Power Stroke has one of the most polarizing reputations of any diesel engine ever installed in a production truck.
The failures that plagued early versions of this engine, primarily EGR cooler failure, oil cooler failure, and the head gasket issues that followed from the resultant overheating, were real and they were serious. Ford and International were in litigation over this engine. Many owners paid $5,000 to $8,000 in repair bills within the first 100,000 miles. All of that is accurate history. Here is the part of the story that the internet underreports significantly. A 6.0-liter Power Stroke that has had what the diesel community calls the bulletproof build, meaning a quality EGR delete or cooler upgrade, an oil cooler replacement with an upgraded unit, head studs replacing the factory TTY bolts, and a quality flush of the cooling system is a fundamentally different engine. The modifications address every known failure mode of the stock configuration. Shops that specialize in diesel work have been performing this package of repairs for nearly 20 years, and the results on properly done trucks are genuinely impressive. A bulletproofed 6.0 at 250,000 miles that has been properly maintained is running clean and strong in more shops than the critics want to acknowledge. The key word is properly. These trucks are selling in the $8,000 to $16,000 range right now for examples with documented bulletproof build work. The question you need to ask when buying one is not just whether the work was done, but who did it, because quality matters enormously on these repairs. A properly documented bulletproof build by a reputable diesel shop is worth paying for. Unverified claims about work that may or may not have been done are not. Pull the service records and call the shop that did the work to verify before you hand over money. The seventh and final truck on this list is the 2011 to 2016 Ford F-150 with the 3-liter Power Stroke diesel. And before you point out that Ford did not offer a diesel F-150 until the 2018 model year, you are correct. And this entry actually covers a completely different segment. I want to use this final position to talk about the 2018 to 2021 F-150 with the 3-liter Lion diesel, which is what Ford actually called the Power Stroke diesel option in the half-ton F-150 when it finally arrived. Ford offered this engine as an option from 2018 through 2021, and it produced 250 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque, while achieving EPA fuel economy ratings of 22 miles per gallon city and 30 miles per gallon highway, which made it the most fuel-efficient F-150 available in those years by a significant margin. Ford discontinued the 3-liter diesel F-150 option after 2021, citing low take rates among buyers who were choosing the hybrid powertrain instead. That discontinuation created an interesting dynamic in the used market. These trucks are rare, they are no longer being produced, and they appeal to a specific buyer who wants diesel fuel economy in a half-ton package for long-distance highway driving or light towing with minimal fuel cost. They are currently selling in the $28,000 to $40,000 range for low to moderate mileage examples, which actually represents reasonable value compared to their original pricing and relative scarcity. Inspection priorities include the high-pressure fuel system, which uses a common rail injection system similar to European diesel applications, and the diesel exhaust fluid system, which must be functioning correctly for emissions compliance. Finding a specialist who knows this specific engine is important because it shares more architecture with European diesel applications than it does with the heavy-duty Power Stroke engines most American diesel mechanics encounter daily. Here is the honest summary of what you need to take away from this list. The best value among these 7 trucks right now, if you want maximum capability with the low-risk profile, is the 2017 to 2019 F-250 or F-350 with the 6-speed torque shift and the 3rd generation 6.7-liter Power Stroke. You are buying a refined, high-output diesel that has been on the road long enough to have its known issues documented and addressed at prices that are from $15,000 to $25,000 below where they were 2 years ago. If your budget allows stepping up to the 2020 to 2022 generation, The 4th generation 6.7 liter at current depreciated prices represents the best combination of modern engineering and value I have seen in this segment in over a decade of watching this market. Whichever truck you choose, always have a diesel specialist perform a pre-purchase inspection before you commit. The cost of a thorough inspection runs from $200 to $400 at a qualified shop. The cost of buying a truck with undisclosed problems runs considerably more. The market is moving right now. These prices will not stay where they are indefinitely because used truck values tend to be cyclical. And the window where you can buy a well-maintained Power Stroke Super Duty at 30 to 40% below peak pricing is a window that closes when demand returns. Act on real information, not internet forum horror stories, and you will come out significantly ahead. If this video helped you understand the Power Stroke market and which trucks to target, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I put out diesel content every week based on what I actually see in the shop and in real ownership data. Drop a comment below telling me which generation Power Stroke you are currently running or considering, and I will give you my honest take on your specific situation. I read every single comment. Like the video if it saved you from making an expensive mistake, and I will see you in the next one.